Paul was this zealous Pharisee. He was a Hebrew, circumcised on the 8th day, come from the stock of Benjamin. He was on the Sanhedrin court, a scholar. He said, I was flawless when it came to the law. And out of his zeal, he thought he was doing the will of God by persecuting and executing this new cult called the kingdom. Heathens call it Christianity. But this is the fulfillment of the kingdom. And this is what's so beautiful is, even though in his era, he thought he was doing what was right, he was doing what was wrong, and God knew the thoughts and intents of his heart, and God said, I can use him. See, some folks sell dope because it seems popular thing to do, it's easy money, and then some folk do it because they think that's the only thing they can do. And they be about it. And it takes entrepreneur skills and discipline to buy something wholesale, cut it up, sell it retail, and live off the difference and save the money. I know a whole bunch of folks that hustle, but I'm sorry. I knew a lot of folks that sold dope, but they didn't hustle. You was a bum selling dope. You was a bum working jobs. You a bum because you a bum. Even if you're gonna hustle, you got to have some discipline and some business about you. I knew folks that would stay dirty and grind and come up. They started with 16 ounces. You look up, they chopping up birds because they had that discipline to do it. And another one, soon they make $20. They got to go get something to drink. Got to go kick it. Got to go buy some shoes. Always broke. You selling dope like you working a job or something. You don't nobody retire with 401k with this. You're supposed to hit it and split it. You can't make right out of wrong. But my principle is God looks at the thoughts and intents of the heart. He knew Paul, if he got converted, would be a soldier. Yeah. But he told him, because you didn't kill so many saints, you're going to suffer a lot of things for me. Yeah. And if you're going to live righteous, you can't be scared to suffer. That's right. And we're in a generation that don't want to suffer nothing. And this is why we're so feeble. That's right. We've become slaves to the flesh. Your body, your spirit is a king. Say, my spirit is a king. My soul is a member. My body is supposed to be a slave. My body's supposed to do what I tell it to do, not my body telling me what to do. You can get in your feelings. You just tired. Why don't you just sleep? You just slept for 8 hours. Why don't you sleep some more? You done worked all week, sleep all day Saturday and do absolutely nothing. You deserve it. Dishes, dishes, grass, look like green forest, dirty clothes everywhere. I just need rest. I just want rest. Can't stand that junk. I ain't talking about nobody. I hope I ain't talking about nobody. You can't be a slave to your flesh. Suffering comes with the cross. 2 Corinthians 4 says that we are afflicted in every way, but not crushed, perplexed, but not driven to despair, persecuted, but not forsaken, struck down, but not destroyed. If you're going to live righteous, you can't be scared of persecution. I told you, if you want to hold on to the most valuable thing that you can possess, and that's your virginity, giving your best on that day, you're going to suffer in the flesh. Because you can't look at a Wendy's commercial without somebody being naked. They sell folks naked selling cigarettes. Folks is naked on the Super Bowl. Janet Jackson showed everybody the right side of her breast at the Super Bowl. You can't look at nothing without seeing works of the flesh. And it's going to cost you something to keep your virginity. You're going to suffer in the flesh because your flesh has an appetite for destruction like everybody else. I'm saved. I love the Lord. And every now and then, I see a nice looking butt. And you can get all sanctified if you want to. That's a nice hind part right there. That's a mule behind right there. That's wow. I've been in the gym and the Lord be talking to me crazy, man. Some be on there and they put the spandex on and they be all tight. And I look and I'm trying to focus. I'm saying to y'all, pray for me because I'm trying to focus. And they wearing junk like that, the new beats or something. And I look And, you know, they doing their thing. And I said, man, and the Lord spoke to me, he said, flesh look good wrapped up, don't it? Flesh, you put saran wrap on some flesh, it look all nice and look all attractive. You like, ooh, they got turkey at 99 cents a pound. But I left that turkey in my trunk. That junk got to stinking. It got to implode it, because we bought some turkey and left it in the trunk. It got to explode, the bag's about to bust because it's death. It's nasty flesh, but you can put it in a package and it look all good, look all nice. But you go for that death trap, and lust will bring forth sin, and before you know it, you in the valley of the shadow of death. That's right. So you got to suffer to keep things as pure. Suffering equips us for ministry. Suffering is essential in equipping us for ministry. Paul writes in 2 Corinthians that God comforts us in our afflictions so that we may be able to comfort those who are in any affliction with comfort which we ourselves are comforted by God. See, you can't talk about you a fighter, you ain't been in no fight. You can't talk about we are the champions. Everyone want to sing that song by Queen, but you ain't got no trophy at the house. There's a suffering that you go through, and when you break it through that, now you can tell somebody else, hey man, we write songs, I've been through the fire, I've been through the flood, and you have a story of how I made it over. Everybody didn't make it out the flood. Everybody don't make it out the fire. What is the common denominator? In the fire, I trusted God. I didn't know what the outcome was, but God brought me out. I think about Abraham. We was talking on Bible study. I reflected on it, and it's blessed my life. It says that when Abraham was about to offer up Isaac as a sacrifice, that he told his servants, he said, me and the lads gonna go up yonder and go sacrifice, and we shall return. And my mother was like, well, how did he know? Why would he say that? How did he know? If God told him to kill his only son, why would he say that he's going to return? He said it by faith because he understood the nature of God. He didn't know that at first when he first started his journey. But after God made a way from him, and after God fulfilled promises, and after God provided for him, and after he messed up and left his wife in Egypt, and left his wife in Abimelech, he got to a place in his spirit where he said, well, God, you've been so faithful. You done showed yourself so mighty. I'm going to get to a point where I ain't even going to doubt you no more. I understand your nature. So even though it looks grim, even though it looks bad, I can say in faith, I'm going to make it out of this situation. Because I understand the nature of God. My wife used to prophesy. She going to the club with them strange birds she called friends, and they club. You gonna tell me you going to the club and y'all just going to dance. You going to talk to dudes. Nah, I ain't. I'm just dancing. I'm just kidding. Stop lying to me. I ain't stupid. Why you playing games? Quit playing games with me. She tell me, I don't care what you say. We gonna be together. I said, listen, Sister Cleo, and put up the crystal ball. I don't believe nothing you say. You can't be going to the club, kicking it, and drinking, and telling me we gonna be together. She sure was right. Despite how grim it looked, she seen something beyond sight and kept prophesying, baby, we gonna be together. And I don't know if she put something in my spaghetti and bewitched me, or this woman got some faith. I don't know which one it was, but I'm here. Amen. Yeah, you got to watch those the women from Louisiana. Amen. Suffering is for the battleground. Whenever there's suffering, there's a battle of the soul. The book of Job shows us there can be two ways to respond to suffering. One is to curse the day that you were born, or the other one to give God praise despite of it all. Suffering prepares us for glory. 2 Corinthians 4:17 through 18 says, the light momentary affliction is preparing us for eternal weight of glory beyond all comprehension, as we look not to the things that are seen, but the things that are unseen. For the things are seen are transcendent, but the things that are unseen are eternal. It's the things that you don't see that's more valuable than the things that you see. So you putting all this makeup on this flesh, but you need to be putting the broccoli and some good water in your heart so your heart can be good. You all here painting this flesh, the flesh is going to perish. You need to take care of the stuff that's on the inside. It's the invisible things, eternal things of God that's more powerful than the things that you see.
Right.
And we want to pitch our tent here. Beloved, the average is 150,000 people die every day. Every day somebody dies. You don't know where it's at. So you need to be preparing. One thing that we all have in common, we have a check-out day. Everyone's going to have a heart attack. Everyone, one day, your heart is going to stop. And then you're going to stand before a holy God. You got to give an account for the deeds done in your body. So if you have an understanding heart, if you have any understanding in your mind, you have to understand that one day I'm going to die.
That's right.
And if there's nothing after this life, then there's nothing. But if God is real and his judgment is real, and I made no preparation for it, woe on that day. Go to 1 Peter. Is that you're going to be uncomfortable in, but if you're going to be a disciple, you got to go through that. Remember when we talked about last week, what was the purpose of boot camp? It's to psychologically break you down, to get you prepared for life and death situations. Everyone I know that goes to boot camp, there was always some clown that wasn't paying attention. There's always some clown that making jokes, and then when it's time for the grenade test, they hold the grenade and throw the pin. And the sergeant, you big dummy, got to run and save him. He about to kill himself. Or you're supposed to set certain coordinates for the rocket launcher, and you do it and almost blow up the barracks. It's always someone that gets shot or get themselves hurt because they're not paying attention at the time that they're teaching life and death situations. A lot of times they get put out. They don't even make it. They say, man, you are not army material. You need to go back to the house and try Burger King again. You can't stay here. Every disciple needs discipline. Discipline is control that is gained by requiring the rules and orders to obey and punishing bad behavior. A way of behaving that shows a willingness to obey rules and orders. Behavior that is judged by how well it follows a set of rules and orders. Let me say you something. There's nothing new in the sun. No one likes discipline. I enjoy doing 50 push-ups a day and running for 5. I don't know. You don't start out that way. You acquire, when you learn to appreciate the benefits of it, some people just do it out of understanding. Some people like pain. That's why they get off into mixed martial arts and all. But the bottom line is that when you first do a thing, it's not the point everyone desires to go through pain. It's the fact of you understand the benefits of it. You understand the benefits of it. No one wants to suffer. But if you don't have an understanding in suffering, you can't reign, you can't gain. No one wants. I remember when I first got out of school, I'm used to playing football, basketball, hanging out, clowning, going to the mall, and it's like I just got thrust into adulthood. Okay, get a job. I went to a factory job, saints. Now, I work fast food, different people go to different schools, we have conversations, talk about our schools, talk about what we're gonna do, we kicking it. You go to a factory job, assembly line, junk keep coming and don't stop. What you mean all we get is a 10-minute break? Nigga, we here for 8 hours, all I get is 10 minutes? It's hot. It's like, I'm thinking of I don't like this. It was kind of torment. It was different. I was like, man, is this what life is about? I'm going back to the house. And I'll never forget, it was my dude Shay. I was miserable. He said, hey man, I know how you can make double your money and not do this. I said, shh, what is it? What is it? Took me around the corner. This is so crazy. When I think about this, I was one of the first ones to talk cold about everybody. Big dummy selling dope, you a bum, you this and that. You got no business, because I'm used to playing football, doing my thing. But when I find myself without no vision, the Bible says without a vision, you perish. I looked up, the things I was preaching, I was like, so we can cut this, do this? He said, come here. I walked with him. We went to a house. We was in there 3 minutes. And he put $150 in my hand. I said, what? He's done. I said, Negro, go give me another one. And I got pulled into the game because I was addicted to convenience. Didn't want to go through no suffering. And sin was fun for a season. We kicking it, making money, and getting cars, and putting gorillas in the trunk, and well, we want to make it rain. I was making it miss in the club. I ain't thinking about tricking. I want no tricks, so I make it miss. I ain't make it rain. I don't believe making it rain. But that season of fulfilling my lust of convenience brought a whole lot of mess in my life. I remember weeping when I found out that I had a child by a woman I didn't love. I thought my life was ruined. And then 6 months later, I got her pregnant. I wanted to kill myself. Because my life is going in a direction that I had no plans in. And I felt like now my junk is getting out of control. I don't have control over my life. I don't have control of some of the decisions I do. Because now I done bit that forbidden apple. What you doing? And now when my flesh should be my slave, I'm a slave to my flesh. Because I made a practice of not being able to discipline myself. I go through a season of suffering, so now I'm controlled by my feelings. Ooh, Mufasa. There's a very important need for discipline in 2016. Does your temper get you in trouble? Do you sometimes rub people the wrong way? Do you pay a cell phone bill and only talk to 2 people? Do you eat until you can't breathe to the point that you can't even bend over and tie your shoes? Do you look at his neighbor, say 100. Do you have to lay on your side to put your socks on? Do you have to get signature loans to pay your bills? Do you have to get signature loans to get tags on your car? When was the last time you made a promise to change a bad habit and didn't do it? This is evidence that your flesh is like leaven. The more you let it live, the stronger it gets, and it becomes a stronghold where your flesh will lead you and guide you where it wants. And the only target, bullseye for the flesh is death. It has an appetite for destruction. Lust conceiveth, it brings forth sin. And when sin is fully grown, it brings forth death. Go to Haggai chapter 1, start at verse 5 and 7. Haggai 1, we'll start at verse 5. It says, "Now therefore, saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. Have you sown much and bring in little? Do you eat and not have enough? Do you drink and are not filled with drink? Are you clothed and there is none warm? Have you he that have earnings earneth wages and put them into a bag with holes in them? Thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways." I told you last week, you got some people who put in their budget, every time they get paid, and their budget is buying clothing. So every time I get paid, I got to buy an outfit. Are you constantly buying clothes and you're not warm? It's not necessarily talking about warm. Why is you not having satisfactory? Why are you not fulfilled with the stuff that you have? You're trying to fulfill a void with materialism, and you'll never do it. Do you drink and never full? Why is it we can drink 40 ounce after 40 ounce? You drink 140 ounce of water and you bust your liver. You drink and what's the purpose of it? To get numb, to get high. So I don't have to worry about my situation. I have to worry about this bad relationship I'm in. I know that it's bad, but I don't want to change. So to stay in it, I stay medicated. I stay high, so I don't have to be responsible and worry about my responsibility. I can be in this la-la land. This is why I stay high. He said, consider the things you do. Consider your ways. Consider your character. See, when we get to talking about integrity and character, that's when the room gets small. I said, everybody get the bathroom spirit. Because now we're talking about discipline. So I met a few women who put everything on their husband, and when he passed away, they couldn't drive, they didn't know how to pay bills, they didn't know how to do anything. I know several people who were even scared to even drive. Oh no, I let my husband do all the driving. What if he go blind? Y'all gonna ride the bus? Certain things you go through, it pulls out things in you that you didn't know was there. You didn't know. Some people make a mistake, have a kid out of wedlock. You went from Barbie dolls and kicking it and messing around, had a kid. And it's suffering to go through that every day. It ain't no, you don't get no break. That joker there every day. They don't go nowhere. I talked to a young lady, she said, there's a young woman that has 6 kids, and the church, they picking up the kids, and she picks up the kids. She said, for 45 minutes, she said, your ministry, let me let you know what your ministry does for me. For 45 minutes, you give me peace of mind without my kids in a safe environment for 45 minutes. I got 6 kids all the time. When they go to church, I get peace of mind for 45 minutes. When you are burdened like that, it brings stuff out of you that you didn't know you had. See, when you got a kid and you broke, but you look at, you used to go to McDonald's, and where do we go? Where do we go? Went to Hereford House. I don't like the Hereford House. We spent $80. They gave me 4 French fries. I said, young man, this meal is $45 and you gave me 4 French fries. When you broke, you go from the Hereford House, you say, you know what? I'm gonna boil these beans, I'm gonna put an onion in it, a little seasoning, and we're gonna make the best of it. And your little kid be all healthy and strong, and all them other folks that eat McDonald's, they got sinuses and all jacked up, and all, they ain't made out of nothing. But them folks is made out of them beans and them old hot dogs, and they be the toughest thing you ever want to meet. You ever the little ghetto thug kids, but they can fight for 2 hours, boy. Ghetto kids be tough, boy, I'm telling you. Ask them what they eat. We had beans. Beans, cornbread, greens. Be made out of something. All the more. I met folks with the corner out of house, nice. I said, man, you can make your own. They on there, you know, microwave dinners. I said, you make your own microwave dinners? Yeah, all convenience. Ain't made out of nothing. Can't make the football team, not all of them. But a lot of them be chumps. You come down to the hood, we got beans and onions, but we be tough as a fool, boy. Tooth missing, fight 5 hours, boy. Y'all silly, boy. He ain't lying. A lot of times you get deceived, because like, Jesse was ghetto, but his daddy made him wear slacks and a button-up. So you think he a chump the way he dressed, but Blakey be in the bathroom smoking weed and knocking their girls out. He was ghetto. So don't let the attire fool you. He ate them beans too. Psychologists have become aware of the phenomenon known as post-traumatic growth. This term is originally coined by psychologists who interview many people who have suffered traumatic life events. This experienced positive life changes. They gain a new inner strength and discover skills and abilities they never knew they possessed. They became more confident and appreciative of life, particularly in the small things. They used to take, with the small things they used to take for granted. They became more compassionate for the suffering of others. They were more compassionate with intimacy, so that they had deeper and more satisfying relationships. One of the most common changes was that they developed a more philosophical or spiritual attitude towards life, a deeper level of awareness. See, There's so much perversion. If I was to do a census, our heads would blow on how many people in this room have been molested. There's only two things can happen. A tragic, adverse experience like that can jack you up and let it jack you up for life. Or you can allow God to flip that thing and make you become an advocate, you become strong, and you become a defender of the weak. It's only two positions you can take. It can take you deeper, or it can make you stronger. I told you it was because of me being isolated. I didn't even realize I never got diagnosed on what was wrong with me. I never realized I suffered from abandonment. But in that, I learned to appreciate certain things that people took for granted. I watched my friends, they dated early. I didn't. And I watched them lose their life, lose their mind over women, in particular light-skinned women. So I became prejudiced of light-skinned. If you didn't have proper melanin, you had the devil in you, and I ain't trust you. Because I watched young men cry and weep and lose their mind, can't sleep, lose weight. My baby's gone. She dogged me, dog, crying. One dude, his girl left him, and he spilled beer on the Xbox, and he wanted to kill himself. All life had ended. He had no woman, and he had no Xbox. He wanted to kill himself. When I seen that, I said, I don't want that. Which had two debtors. The one owed 500 pence and the other 50. And when they had nothing to pay, he frankly forgave them both. Tell me therefore, which of them will love him the most? And Simon answered and said, I suppose that he to whom he forgave most, he said unto him, thou hast rightly judged. But that whom little is forgiven, the same loveth little. And let me say this. This is the blessing and the curse of being blessed. See, I suffered a lot of things in my life, and this is what most parents say. I don't want my kids to go through what I went through. So we try to overcompensate for things that we think we need or didn't have. And a lot of times, all you do is spoil these rascals, and they ain't made out of nothing. You could slit your wrist and say, son, daughter, please clean your room. And act like this is an impossible task. But you come up with some kids that 3-4 cats had to share one room. Right. They keep that junk clean. They're appreciative. I had a friend that was a Muslim. His mother didn't work. So that man made powdered milk. He made powdered milk taste like fresh milk out the doggone store, and we ate cereal. I said, man, what is this? What is this? How much this? Man, this farmers? What is it? He made powdered milk, powdered eggs. This man at 15 could sew, iron. To this day, I can't iron. I jack up some slacks to this day. I'm sweating, laboring like a slave. I hate this stuff. I can't iron. This man could iron. He could sew. He can do all these things because he's put in a position where he had to, and it made him advanced because of the things he suffered. The problem is when you've been enabled, it causes you to be laxed in love. If I had testimony service right now, come tell me about the goodness of the Lord. He woke me up today. The thunder playing tonight. You used to be scratching your head, trying to think about God's goodness. But you give me the mic, and I tell you, he saved a bum that used to hustle, that should be in jail, that should have the AIDS. He blessed me with children where I should be sterile from all the stupid junk I had. I was a fool when it came to money, and he kept on busting my head with the scriptures till I began to gain wisdom and begin to learn and walk in my manhood. He speaks to me. I can go on and on about God's goodness. And then sometimes I have my own testimony service. Sometimes I'm just riding in the car, and I think of his goodness, and tears swell up in my eyes. And sometimes my flesh rises up, and I come up with all kinds of schemes to get money, but I keep thinking about what he done for me, and it bursts integrity in me, and I keep on pushing. And sometimes I want to fight my own battles when folks lie on me, and sometimes I get upset when folks act funny with me when I've been a blessing to them, but I hold my peace and I keep it moving because God has been good to me. And I know if I suffer right now, it'll be nothing be compared to the rain I'm going to receive later if I keep on walking with him, if I keep trusting in him. What I've been through cultivated my character. It's what made me. And this is why I can be folks that you see sin a lot when they can say they become real passionate because they know what God brought them out of. And then you get these folks who I didn't fornicate like you. Well, we both was going to hell, so what's the difference? Let me tell you the difference.
That's right.
In your sin, you still self-right. Well, I wasn't as bad. You want to judge on the curve. You want to judge according to people, but according to God's judgment, you was going to an eternity hell just like me.
I'm desperately waiting to be where you are across the high